bunch of European gentlemen who were cultural Marxists came here. They fled Nazi Germany and Mussolini's Italy to come to places like Southern California at the height of the Golden Age. And these men were depressed because what they saw was frivolity, consumerism, and their desires to create a serious utopia, an economic utopia, were hindered and hampered by what they saw was shallow consumerism. And they devised of a political, cultural, Marxist pathway that wasn't aiming straight at the politics, but was aiming at the culture. And they told their minions, go to the college campus, go to Hollywood. They took over Hollywood and they took over the mainstream media, and they devised a false pretense called objective journalism.
On this episode of Just Informed Talk, we're going to take a look at the latest new Cube posts. Does nothing exist except an endless present in which the Democrat Party is always right? That's a quote paraphrasing from George Orwell. We're going to look at that and how Andrew Cuomo, as governor of New York, and other Democrat governors helped facilitate the spread of this infection. We're going to talk about what that means, and we're going to look at Chinese interference in the 2020 election and clips from President Trump's latest rally. So you guys are going to want to stick around and check out that and a whole lot more. Hi, and welcome to another episode of Just Informed Talk. I'm your host, Craig. Today, as always, like to say thanks to everybody who's hit that subscribe button. If you guys haven't done it, please come here, click that, plus hit that bell and select all so you get notified as soon as all of these videos get posted. And don't forget, we do a segment at the end of each one of these episodes called God's Grace is Greater, where we talk about God's grace and how it is truly greater. Today, we're going to look at hearing and doing the word out of the book of James. And we're going to be specifically looking in chapter 1. So I hope you guys stick around to hear the word at the end of this episode. But with that, I always like to go right to where we left off. We left off at Q Post 4491, picking up at 4492. We have a lot to cover. What we're going to do is we're going to look at all of the Q Posts, then we're going to look at some news, then we're going to watch some clips from the latest President Trump rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then we're going to wrap it up with our final segments. Before we do all that, though, reminder, this video is brought to you in part by Brave Browser. You can download it for free using the link in the description. If you haven't tried it yet, I really encourage you to give it a shot. It's a great product. I use it. I stand behind it. It blocks the ads on your desktop, your laptop, your smartphone, your smart device, and you can download it for free using the link today. They'll make a contribution to this channel when you use that link, so make sure you use the one in the description below. But check out the Brave Browser. It's a great product. Now, we're going to get into the latest Cube post starting here with this banner on, I guess, a New Jersey or New York, I would assume actually New York highway, where it says, Cuomo killed my mom. Now, can you imagine the devastation, the hurt, the pain that would cause someone to go out there and feel the need to put this up because they feel betrayed by the government whom they trusted to look out for the welfare of their family, their mother? It's unimaginable, but that's where Q wants us to start. Then Q gives us this Steve Scalise tweet saying, alarming data, 40% of COVID deaths have come from nursing homes. 20,000 deaths were avoidable. Numbers don't lie. Cuomo does. He violated protocol and forced COVID patients into nursing homes. Now he's trying to cover up the horrific outcome. He must be held accountable. And this is a clip from the show with on TBN with Huckabee. So I'll play this clip real quick.
As I started looking at the data, we found something pretty alarming, and that is that over 40% of all the COVID deaths in America happened among seniors in nursing homes. Mike, seniors in nursing homes represent about 0.6% of the American population. Less than 1% of the population accounts for over 40% of the deaths. 45 states, by and large, did this the right way, but 5 states, Mike, just 5 states, their governors went against the federal guidelines that were coming out of CMS and decided to force those seniors back that were in hospitals. If you're a senior, you were in a nursing home, you started feeling bad, they sent you to a hospital. Well, if you were COVID positive, these 5 governors forced those seniors back to the nursing home and prohibited the nursing home from even testing to see if they were COVID positive, to know if they were. And these are alarming numbers, by the way, Mike. We've identified over 20,000 seniors who should not have died.
So there you heard it from the House Minority Whip, Steve Scalise. You know, the same Steve Scalise, mind you, who was shot down in that field and has come back into Congress despite being attacked by some left-wing nut job. in that horrible attack that happened in DC. So, but the point is, he's calling out the fact that these deaths were unavoidable. Now, what does that mean? Let's see what Q has to say. Q says, how is it possible select Democrat governors thought it was safe to push COVID-19 positive elderly patients back into nursing homes, hot zones? And then it gives this Yale medicine explanation for the flu, saying there's a good reason behind doctors' recommendation that older adults receive the flu vaccine annually. Each year, 90% of deaths worldwide related to influenza A virus strike men and women aged 65 and older. The trouble, according to a widely accepted theory, is that IAV replicates quickly and overwhelms older adults' immune systems, thus making them more susceptible to catching pneumonia and the like. A study published in April in the Journal of Science suggests that body's inflammatory immune response, not the virus, leads to death. Oh, that's interesting. It says the author created mice with immune system and they tested them, and that's what Q wants us to look at, but Q references it saying each year 90% of deaths worldwide related to influenza A virus IAV strike men and women 65 and older. If the flu influenza is more deadly among the elderly known, how is it possible select Democrat governors thought it was safe to push COVID-19 positive elderly patients back into nursing homes, hot zones? Why would this be directed if hospitals, U.S. Navy plus U.S. Navy medical ships, New York and California, New York City, I should say, plus erected care facilities had more than 70% capacity? And then it points us to this fine law document that goes over third-degree murder. Now, there's only 3 states that seem to have third-degree murder on the books. It could be otherwise known as manslaughter, involuntary manslaughter, etc. But this is going through the degrees to which third-degree murder is applied, right? In what scenarios. And what Q wants us to take away from that, I would assume, is that these people are possibly guilty of negligent homicide against this population, which they forced to be exposed to a virus which they knew was deadly, which they had enough evidence and scientific data to suggest would have a huge detriment to the population of these nursing homes. Now, when you ask yourself, why would they push them into the nursing homes? Then it gets into some very nefarious things. Why? Why would they push them back in the nursing homes? Q says someone can be accused of third-degree murder if they unintentionally cause someone else's death while committing a dangerous act. Negligent, reckless, who benefits the most? Why only Democrat governors? How do you reasonably explain what occurred? Q. Well, it's hard to reasonably explain why those decisions were made. I haven't heard a case made that even remotely seems believable on my end, especially given the fact that what Q's outlining here is something that we all realize looking back, that they had the data to understand that the elderly were the most vulnerable, yet they pushed it into these nursing homes and they quarantined those nursing homes, basically turning them into death traps for the elderly. Now, is that because who knows what the decision making was there, but I can tell you right now that it needs to be investigated, and we should be able to hold these politicians accountable when they make bad decisions like this, and we shouldn't have a media that just gives them a pass and then attacks us and continues to call us these pejoratives and names that don't even really remotely accurately portray the reality of the situation. So, yeah. And the next one here is a Q post giving us this Pennsylvania health official moving her mother from nursing home as deaths skyrocketed. So here in Pennsylvania, as you see in what happened with New York and California, the officials had all the awareness of what they were doing. If they had the awareness to remove their own parents from these facilities, knowing what was coming, then that's just careless and reckless and negligent. And in my opinion, you could find them guilty of negligent homicide against the thousands of people who lost their lives because they were locked in these nursing homes and forced to cohabitate with people who were infected with a virus that the government knew was deadly and was most deadly to those who were in those facilities. So Q gives us that, says, quote from the article, the health official responsible for overseeing nursing homes in Pennsylvania, where nearly 70% of the state's coronavirus-related deaths have occurred, has reportedly moved her elderly mother out of a facility as deaths skyrocketed. reconcile. Q. Now, I know the history of this person. I know you guys, before you go down the chat and tell me, oh, did you know this about, yeah, I get it. I don't really care about that right now. I care about the fact that they took their parents out of a nursing home while they were advising the other nursing homes to accept patients who they knew could infect the most at risk in our society. That's what matters more than anything, and that's what we have to reconcile. So, yeah. The next post here, Q wants us to look at this President Trump post, where it says, rigged 2020 election, millions of mail-in ballots will be printed by foreign countries and others. It will be the scandal of our lifetime, or of our times. So what Q's going to lay out here is the most terrifying thing I've ever heard. And if this happens, or if we allow this to happen, then we will effectively lose our democratic republic as it stands today, right? That's just what it is. Listen to this. Is this about the virus of the election? Manipulated polls meant to legitimize rigged election results? So think about that first. They give you the suppression polls to tell you President Trump doesn't stand a chance. There's no way he's going to win. Quote, it says, the election was not rigged. All the polls demonstrated Biden's clear lead across the country. Example. Oh, that's why they put out the suppression polls. That's why they refuse to give you real polls and data. Oh, that makes sense. What happens if China successfully duplicates clones, select ballots in battleground states? Well, we know they have a pipeline into California, right? Through Feinstein and Newsom and the rest of them. These feckless politicians in this state where I live now that seem to have sold us out to every foreign country in the books and make these unconstitutional orders that mandate that we all wear masks because they make these ridiculous billion-dollar deals for masks with China. Oh, I think we see what's going to happen here in California and the other battleground. But I mean, even though California, is it really a battleground state? It's been blue for so long. But if they want to jack up the popular vote, this is where they'll come and do it, as they did in the previous election, I think, with the ballot harvesting and the illegal voting and everything else. It says, what happens if coordination exists with select states to deliver printing and paper ballots, recipes, secrets to select foreign adversaries? Oh, great. So now you're going to have these crazed BLM, Antifa radicals who have infiltrated our government and our voting system, taking the means and methods for us to create the ballots that we use to vote with and shipping that material knowledge to China so that they can use their apparatus to create fake ballots to send back to us to then ballot harvest. And they don't even have to ballot harvest. They just have to go dump them at the ballot polling stations. That's it. That's all they have to do. They could even throw the whole election if they just flood it. These people are criminals, and they will do this because we've uncovered their global mafia, and we are exposing it, and we are holding them accountable to the law. It says nothing to lose, logical thinking, Q. That's why they have nothing to lose. The next one here, Q says, quoting George Orwell, every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book rewritten, every picture has been repainted, every statue and street building has been renamed, every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day and minute by minute. History is stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right. George Orwell, 1984. Sound familiar? Q. Well, I made a quick video to show what this statement really looks like in the terms of what we're experiencing today. So watch this real quick.
Details about the immunity deals for two top Hillary Clinton aides. Former Clinton Chief of Staff Cheryl Mills and ex-campaign staffer Heather Samuelson were granted immunity in the FBI's Clinton email server investigation. And sources tell Fox News that part of that deal included the destruction of laptops.
An FBI employee modified a FISA document and falsely stated that he had documentation to back up a claim made in a FISA application.
But that has not deterred Xi Jinping. He now wants to rewrite the Bible and the Quran.
An FBI official is now under criminal investigation for allegedly altering a document related to surveillance of Trump campaign advisor Carter Page in 2016.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
A bunch of European gentlemen who were cultural Marxists came here. They fled Nazi Germany and Mussolini's Italy. They devised of a political, cultural Marxist pathway that wasn't aiming straight at the politics, but was aiming at the culture. And they told their minions, go to the college campus, go to Hollywood. They took over Hollywood and they took over the mainstream media. And they devised a false pretense called objective journalism.
So there you go. I shared this on Twitter. If you guys want to share it on Twitter, I encourage you to do that. So go check out the link in the description as well for that to get it connected. Now, a few other stories I want to cover before we go. We have the New Jersey Republicans, receiving misprinted ballots with Democratic candidates listed instead. So this is really interesting. Between 500 and 700 Republicans received the wrong ballots out of 2,400 enrolled in Bernardsville, New Jersey. So, of course, you see what's happening with this virus in New Jersey. This is one of the battleground states, New Jersey, New York, California, all of these places where the Democrats are trying to retain power. You're going to see stuff like this, and it's really sad. Another story here, Joe Biden's first presidential run in 1988 cratered when he had multiple instances of plagiarism. President Trump talked about this in the rally, but ultimately what you need to know is that he plagiarized an entire speech to the point where he didn't even take out the byline. I mean, so that's practically that's what happened. So that's something you need to remember about Joe Biden, and that's why they have to hide him in a basement. That's why they have to try to steal this election. They have to keep him out of the debates. But he said he's going to come out and go to debate. He actually committed to 3 debates with President Trump. That's news that just broke this afternoon today. So we'll see if that actually happens, or if we have another COVID outbreak and they have to do it on Zoom and there's a glitch where, there's like a 10-minute delay and he gets to have somebody write his responses for him or something, which seems to be most likely what would happen in that scenario. Have a little earpiece and sitting in his basement as somebody speaks the answers into his ears because he can't think for himself. But, another thing to remember, don't let the fake news lie about what happened the other night with Trump rally. They had the Antifa, BLM, and all them, the fascist thugs who claim to be anti-fascist, which is the irony of all ironies. They were the ones who were blocking the entrances. They were intimidating Trump supporters. And look, if that's what we're going to live with, then this country has to change, because there's no decent person in this country who wants to live in a society where you have roving mobs of violent thugs intimidating the citizens who are working hard every day trying to keep this country going, who are patriots of all colors and creeds and every religion. And they don't want to be held back by a group of, let's just be honest, brainwashed people who, a lot of which have signed on with Marxism, communism, and the rest, right? Or socialism and anarchism. These people want to destroy this country and the system that we have. So we have to stand up against them. But legally and lawfully, and just showing them that we're not afraid. We're not going to back down is the point. Because every time we give them an inch, they're going to take a mile, as you've seen with everything that's happened across this country recently, right? And then finally here, Sean King and Matt Schlapp seem to agree that Jesus images are a form of white supremacy. Now, I should rephrase that. Matt Schlapp agrees that they're going to try to take out statues of Jesus. He doesn't agree with this statement right here. But Sean King making this statement is proof of Matt Schlapp and others who have said now they're going to start ripping down statues of Jesus. And I've contested it's basically a hate crime, right? I mean, what's the difference between that and, burning down a church, or, vandalizing gravestones. I mean, it's the same thing. And these people are psychotic. They don't believe in the right to freedom of speech. They don't believe in the right to freedom of religion. They don't believe in the right to freedom of press. They don't believe in the right to have the freedom to protect yourself via the Second Amendment. They don't believe in any of the founding principles of this country. All they believe in is whatever new neo-Marxist ideas that roll across the chyron on CNN or MSNBC. That's all. That's what they care about. They take their orders from there and the DNC, and then they go out and they smash and they destroy and they intimidate and they commit acts of violence to make sure that you don't go out and express your opinions peacefully. So that's what it seems to be that we're up against today. And now I want to show you guys a few clips from the rally, President Trump's latest rally in Tulsa, and then we'll wrap it up.
If you think you're going to run against, they're going crazy. They want the stock market to go down, even if it costs them money. They want the stock market to go down, even if it costs them money. And they don't even know why. You know what? They're smart and they're vicious, but they don't know why. I'm telling you, they don't know why. What's wrong with having the strongest military brand new in the world all built? What's wrong with having these great economic numbers? What's wrong with having to close it down? We saved millions of lives. You know, a lot of people say we should have gone herd. Let's go herd. Ask him, how are they doing in Brazil? He's a great friend of mine. Not good. You heard about Sweden, right? 2 months. Ask him how they doing in Sweden. We saved millions of lives, and now it's time to open up, get back to work, okay? Get back to work. Joe Biden is a shameless hypocrite. Since 2003, he has delivered fawning eulogies to the funeral and at those funerals of 3 leading supporters of segregation, including a former member of the KKK. And yet Biden is now smearing as racist tens of millions of people like yourselves, decent, hardworking Americans who he's never met, and he frankly probably doesn't want to meet. It's everything. The forgotten men and women. I campaigned on the forgotten. These are great people. These are substantial people. These are the elite. By the way, you're the elite. They're not the elite. You're the elite. They said, somebody 2 days ago said, sir, the elite are really working hard on trying to destroy you. I said, yeah. Why do you call them the elite? I said, why? Well, they're not elite. I look better than them. Much more handsome. Got better hair than they do. I got nicer properties. I got nicer houses. I got nicer apartments. I got nicer everything. I ran for politics once, just once in my life, and I became president of the United States. Once. Just one. And hopefully, if you get out and vote, we'll do it one more time. We won't even toy with them about 3 or 4 more times. We won't. We'll do it one more time. We'll be 2 for 2, and our country will never, ever be stronger. Ilhan Omar. Ilhan Omar is going to be very much involved in a Biden government. They will put this hate-filled, America-bashing socialist front and center in deciding the fate of your family and deciding the fate of your country. I don't think so. She would like to make the government of our country just like the country from where she came, Somalia. No government, no safety, no police, no nothing, just anarchy. And now she's telling us how to run our country. No, thank you. And I think we're going to have a big victory in the state of Minnesota, because they've had it. They've had it. Here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. They blame a president for anything. When you see looters, even though we put them down, if we didn't stop them, nobody would, because the other side will never stop them. But they always blame a president. Here's what's happening. We're going up, we're going up, we're going up, we're going to go up. Then we're going to hit October. We're going to be up. We're going to be way up. We're not going to be where we were, but in many ways, other than all of the horrible, horrible death that was so needlessly caused by a virus that should have been stopped where it originated, which was China. But we're going to go up, 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 August, September, October, and people are going to say, man, this guy's doing a good job. He knows what he's doing. I don't believe the fake news anymore. And you're not going to want to lose your 401ks, and you're not going to want to lose all of that wealth that you've accumulated, whether it's real estate wealth or any wealth you can think, because it'll all come tumbling down if these people are put in charge, and if they double and triple and quadruple your taxes. It'll be a whole different ballgame. So I'm not putting any pressure on anybody, but in the end, we're going to have a phenomenal economy. And next year, we're going to have a good third quarter. But next year, and I said it before, will be the single greatest year economically that we've ever had, okay? Together, we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you all.
So I hope you enjoyed those clips from President Trump's latest rally. A few more things before we go. Watch these videos, share them. You know there's a content suppression algorithm. They're trying to keep this away from the public, so you have to share it. Don't forget also to leave your thoughts, theories, and insights below. Also, you can find me over here on Twitter at JustInformYou and at informed_news. Plus, I'm on Parler at Just Informed Talk, and you can check out the official website for Just Informed Talk, justinformednews.com. And you can find me over on BitChute, the backup channel, bitchute.com/justinformedtalk. A few other ways you can help the channel are financial. You can come over here to Patreon, which is a crowdfunding website, monthly donation. You set it and forget it. And know you're creating content on this channel on a regular basis in the face of all the demonetization and suppression. You guys keep this channel alive. Also, I'm over here with a GoFundMe. If you make a one-time or an anonymous donation, links to everything will be in the description below. Now, before we go, we do a segment called God's Grace is Greater, where we talk about God's grace and how it is truly greater. Today, I want to talk about hearing and doing the word. And I just want to share one verse here out of the book of James. Well, basically two verses. And this is James chapter 1, verse 19 through 20. My dearly loved brothers and sisters, understand this. Everyone must be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. For man's anger does not accomplish God's righteousness. Now that's a pretty simple verse, right? But it's got so much packed into it for how we approach every obstacle, every adversity, everything that tries to pull us down to the pit in life. It gives us a way to overcome it right there. It says we got to be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Now, why? Well, it seems pretty simple. It explains it. Because man's anger really does nothing to accomplish God's righteousness. We know that God taught us how to live through the Word and through Christ as the example when He came down and made that sacrifice on the cross for our sins. But our anger does nothing to further that. And what is our calling here on this earth other than to live for Christ, to become closer to Him so we can become closer to the Father in heaven? So my message to you is to remember that when you hear the word, that it's not just about hearing it, it's about what you do after you hear it. So that's my message to you. I hope that you take that and share that with your family, your friends, your loved ones, and get that out there, because that's what we need to overcome this evil that exists in this world. And thank you guys for watching. Remember, you can come here, hit the subscribe button, also hit it, punch it, tap it, whatever. Hit the like button if you guys like this content and want to see me make more. But that's it for me. Thanks for watching Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.